scrolling through the Book of the Face yesterday, somebody had sent me a really interesting video that made me think twice. Really made me think twice. It was a compilation video, which I had seen before, of all of these different clips from around the world of journalists, young athletes, football players, soccer players, and even people in parliament literally dropping like flies, suddenly dropping. Whether they died or whether they just dropped or fainted, we don't know. But let's remember that during the EA inquiry into the Emergency Act, we actually had a Crown prosecutor literally drop like flies.
Commercial CMV, that's commercial vehicles?
Yes.
Okay, now the dogs are tamed, but let's just say mainstream media will never tell you whether they're vaccinated, unvaccinated, or whether they're quadruple jabbed, but you have to wonder, why are people just dropping like flies? And all of us are starting to know people who have had mysterious illnesses, crop up. Psst, don't worry. It's totally unrelated. The media's been telling us so. And all of those people dropping, no, it's unrelated. Or maybe it's due to COVID, long COVID is the excuse. Interestingly, the very same symptoms of long COVID are the exact same symptoms of adverse events for the vaccine on the Health Canada website. But it's unrelated. You can trust the government and you can trust the media to tell you the truth, right? In fact, what we do know is that the insurance CEOs of major insurance companies last year got together and realized that there are a 40% increase in all-cause death. And that's just not one CEO saying that, that's all of them. That's kind of like the general discussion during the agenda of the insurance companies, convention. Don't worry, it's unrelated. No, nothing to see here, folks. No. And oh yeah, it's totally normal for children and young people to have heart attacks and strokes. Yeah. We do have to question the narrative. Now, here's the interesting part of that video. So this video goes through and it shows all these different people, whether they're journalists dropping on camera or, parliamentarians in different countries or people doing speeches or CEOs or athletes, football players, soccer players, and young kids. And then it takes a really bizarre twist. And the twist, the narrator comes on and he starts talking about how these are all clones and how these are takeovers of people's bodies, and that this is kind of a sign that, the US government and all of our politicians and all of the famous people in the world are being taken over by clones. And that's where it gets woo, okay, I'm not saying that they're taken over by clones, and I'm not agreeing with that. And quite frankly, even if there was some alien race of lizard people that was taking over our power positions in the world, we'd never really know it, would we? But anyway, but the point is, why and who would benefit by people labeling such a video, this crazy, wild, woo-woo conspiracy theory? Because the videos were real. They were real all over the world. But who actually benefits from the mainstream media and government officials who started this narrative over a year ago, basically saying, those crazy right-wing, tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists? And who benefits from us believing that it's a conspiracy theory? And another thing we know for sure is that the Canadian government, right in the middle or right at the beginning of the pandemic, started doing Psyops experiments. Okay, they actually admitted in documents that they wanted to start doing Psyops, in other words, some mental operations and communications operations to try and convince people of one thing versus another so that they could study the response during a crisis. Okay. Some people and those crazy conspiracy theorists argue that it's all psyops, that the whole mainstream media bought narrative, the state media and Justin Trudeau and all of their ministers have been psyopsing our asses for the entire pandemic. And that, now evidence, actually science evidence, is showing that the science has shifted. And in fact, all those things we were told in the beginning weren't actually entirely true. Uncomfortable truths, but uncomfortable truths that are waking up the world and people are waking up to, because we know the numbers of people getting triple and quadruple and, jabbed up the yin yang are dropping. In fact, they're dropping just as fast as Pfizer's stock. And that's why Pfizer and Moderna and so on are talking about raising their prices for the vaccine. A vaccine, by the way, that was funded by taxpayers' money from countries all over the world. The first time in our history where countries all over the world funded the development of a vaccine with big pharma for profit. And they made billions and billions and billions in profit. Those profits are dropping, and now they have to answer to stakeholders and shareholders. So who really benefits from us thinking that all of these things that we see right in front of us, our friends and our young people getting sick or having myocarditis or having stiff body syndrome or feeling lethargic or having heart problems, and watching our famous people experience those things, and this whole new narrative of sudden death from unknown causes, who really benefits from us thinking that that's just a wild conspiracy theory? Think twice, Canada.